Well, we are back to the fabled Woke the Plank.
Oh, yes.
Which I intimated in the last podcast against our editor. Or I should be doing that. Either way. Because Mark's our editor.
Do both.
Anyway.
Yes.
Woke the Plank. Mark.
Oh, Woke the Plank. Yes, this was
Take
a
it away.
feature.
It's come back.
It's back. It's made a comeback, back by popular demand. This was a feature we used to do many moons ago when we first started the podcast. And we used to have like a bit of a joke and laugh, didn't we, about pirate stuff, pirate theme, because obviously a former panelist on the podcast used to look, still does look like Captain Pugwash. So we used to have a lot of laughing about pirates. So we had a Woke the Plank, didn't we? Where we used to go through a lot of stuff that was just woke.
We should do a picture, do an AI picture of Captain Pugwash and put his face in it.
Oh, I'm just going to love that. Do you know what? I thought this was very apt because at the time, no one was really woke in the plank. But in America now, everyone's getting chucked off the end of it. So hopefully this is going to spur on people in this country to get down that plank, woke that plank. The first person to woke the plank, I say person, probably quite a few people. It's going to be whoever in the NHS has come up with this batshit crazy idea of offering trans men, which is biological women, fertility treatment that sadly many women are denied due to its cost, forcing them to go private.
What?
So in America, while they are actually making it all people woke the plank, over here, it intensifies, John.
Jesus Christ.
So, if this confuses the adults, God knows how the children feel. So a trans man is a biological woman who wants to identify as a man. So why would you then therefore want to have a baby?
Yes. Because
if I identified as a cat, I would not want to eat dog food. Would you? I mean, if I identified as a dog, I might drink milk. But
a dog will eat anything. I can assure you, a dog will eat anything.
So, then what happens when the woman who identifies as a man, who might or might not look like a man, walks around pregnant?
Yep.
I'm sorry.
It's a beer belly. That's what it is. It's a beer belly.
Right. Well, if that's what it is. That's what it is. But when's this stuff going to stop? Because this has hurt my brain, John.
Because it's going to stop because somebody at number 10 is going to go, this ain't working. All this stuff, all this like sort of bad things for the public, suppression, communist, Marxist stuff isn't working.
Well,
I know. Let's be a capitalist.
Oh, imagine if they identify. Yeah, imagine if the socialists identify the capitalist. We might do well. Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to burst you.
Why, if socialists identify as sane,
that might help. But sadly, I'm going to have to, what do they say? Piss on your chips, mate. Because they're not sane. Because rather than making them woke the plank, Keir Starmer, in his wisdom, and I'm being sarcastic, has employed, you ready for this, a new health minister. Oh, great, we say, to replace that geezer we were talking about.
Andrew Gwynn.
He might be a geezer. I don't know how he identifies. And I don't really care.
You want the OAPs to die?
Are you ready for
the
this?
Next election? All right, they're gone. All right.
Are you ready?
Just like you.
Are you ready? It's like Chaz and Dave. Ashley Dalton is the new health minister. And sadly, you're not going to get your wish because she's going to have to woke the plank too. Because I think back in 2016 or something, she said it's perfectly fine and we should accommodate people, who identify as llamas. I think this is how we
llamas do, don't you? They go. They will spit at you.
They don't stand in elections, so I'm confused again. This is how we win, I think. These people are going to do the opposite of what we want them to do, and it's going to turn them even more insane and bonkers than they already are, if that's possible. And then it's just all going to have to crumble, isn't it? Because It's madness, mate.
I'd love it. Why didn't somebody say, I'm going to identify as a giraffe, so that we can come up with the line, giraffe too?
Giraffe too. Oh. Well, we're going to use that one.
Joke.
Yeah, we're going to use that one. Giraffe too.
Giraffe
we're on about identify as a giraffe.
Yeah. I identify as a cow. A nosy cow.
Just some days you wake up, don't you, and you think, I'm just going to pinch myself.
Yeah,
I am definitely awake. Like, I am definitely awake. So, woken the plank on our first edition back. Is the NHS for this total insanity. And then the new health minister may as well throw Keir Starmer on the plank too, seeing as he employed her. Or then again, according to our last podcast, he had nothing to do with it, and he did have something to do with it, so he might have sacked her. But at the same time, he might not have done, John. We never know, do we?
We don't know.
He might be transing in between sacking it and not sacking it.
Is it the birds and the bees, or the bees and the birds, or the birds with the birds, or the bees with the bees? We don't know.
Don't know. It's all fluid, mate. You can keep changing. So I sacked her, I didn't sack her. I sacked her, I didn't sack her. I sacked her, I didn't sack her. He just keeps transitioning either way.
I tell you what, that was good the way you were doing that with your head.
It's good, isn't it? Actually, this is confusing. So if you transition, doesn't that mean you move from one thing to another?
Yeah.
All right, okay. But gender's fluid and you can just keep moving around anywhere all the time you want.
I identify as an angry old man.
Yeah, yeah, I can vouch for that. I identify as not having a clue what's going on anymore, John.
I identify as a grumpy old man tomorrow. In fact, I might identify as a brick wall, and some people might be talking to it. There you go.
If I ever get in any trouble for any of this stuff that I've said by mistake because I'm confused, I'm just going to have to lay this out to the jury, and I'm going to say, please, jury, can you make this make sense before you convict me? If you can, convict me. If you can't, I think we're all the same team.
Yeah.
Can I go now, please?
We are going to get through this one way or another, and we're gonna keep on doing the plank, because we came up with it for us first before any of these other broadcast stations are doing. And just to let everybody know, we're testing a load of things out, and we're testing the live streams out, and we're doing different things, and we are going to be coming on, and we're going to be taking on LBC and all the rest of that crap.
We're in our own transition, aren't we? But
yeah, we're trannies. Are you a tranny?
Digital trans.
Digital.
We're going. 1 minute we'll be on YouTube doing a live, and the next minute we'll be on Spotify doing a record. But you're doing the next.
Yeah, we identify as Spotify when we're on Spotify, and we identify as YouTube when we're on YouTube.
This is the thing, you see, because the majority of our listeners and viewers are on the likes of Spotify, on the actual podcast.
They are, and also
platforms
Apple as well.
But we are doing lives on YouTube, which sadly you can't do on Spotify. So I don't know what people are going to do, where they're going to watch things, but we just need to let people know that we're on all the platforms. The lives will appear on the other platforms, but obviously not live.
Well, so I'm going to tell everybody that the Gazelle is a tranny.
He really didn't want you to tell anyone. After you told everyone about Steve, he was like, no.
Steve identifies as a raven. Do you believe that? He identifies as a raven. But anyway, he's in the oubliette, so we're not going to talk anymore about him. Let's get off. Okay, here we go.
I'll tell you what, if any listeners or viewers have got any ideas for Woke the Plank, if we've missed any wokey people, let us know and we'll rinse it.
Let us know in the comments and we'll put it in. Put it in. Okay, here we go. We're saying bye-bye.
If not, I'm sure there's a list like this long.
Bye-bye from the Cheshire Matters trannies.
Goodbye to all lovely listeners and viewers. Ignore the landlord. It's being facetious. Is that a word?
Facetious.
That's a posh word, isn't it?
It is indeed. Especially coming from you.
It is, isn't it?